Hello from Greenwich, London. A very good morning, afternoon, or evening to you from wherever you are tuning in from. We thank you for your time. My name's Peter Peterson. I'm International Marketing Director at Biomedical and your facilitator today. Just some quick housekeeping. If you don't mind, could you please ensure during today's webinar that you keep your phone on mute? Thank you. Just a quick overview on proceedings for today. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to hand you over to Mr. Wong, our General Manager, who's going to give you a bit of history and where we are over the last 20 years. That will then be followed by Enrique Wong and his team of sales and marketing experts who will discuss and talk to you about our products and solutions from across the wider cold chain, or the complete cold chain that Biomedical has to offer. Followed at the end, we're going to put some time away for some questions for you, but please feel free to send some of those questions during the webinar, and then we will do our best near the end or the back end of the webinar to answer all your questions. If not, you'll be able to send us or contact us through our website, which is www.highmedical.com. That's www.highmedical.com, where you can contact us and ask a few more questions. So now I'd like to hand you over to Mr. Wong, and I'll talk to you soon. Mr. Wong, over to you.
Hello everyone, my name is Wong, and I'm a General Manager here at Biomedical. Today, as mentioned by Peter, we come live to you from China, and it's my honor to welcome you from all corners of the world to our first live broadcast from a new IoT Exhibition Center here in Qingdao. I think, however, it is important to us to start with a huge thank you from our entire team to all the healthcare workers all around the world. You are our heroes, and together we will win the fight against COVID-19. We are with you. During today's broadcast, we will share with you the development history as well as the latest innovation and technology from Biomedical. However, before we proceed, I would like, on behalf of the entire team, to thank our partners who have always believed in and supported us during the advancement of Biomedical. Before I hand it over to the digital team of specialists, who will dig deep into what makes our products and solutions superior, and why we can be found in over 120 countries supporting healthcare system. I would like to give you a quick overview of Biomedical. Biomedical began with the research, development, production, and sales of Biomedical cryogenic storage equipment. Since our humble beginning some 20 years ago, technology has certainly advanced. At Biomedical, we have grown alongside technology by combining our R&D manufacturing with IoT-based biological and medical science and practices. We have achieved this by using a concept of IoT, which the company now acknowledged as the leading provider of comprehensive cold chain solutions for various biotechnological challenges. IoT-based technology makes it possible for real-time monitoring and tracking, from intelligent vaccination, precise blood management, to ultra-low pressure usage. We will see more solutions today from the team. Operating globally, Biomedical has independently developed and mastered technology of UIT freezers and has become the world's leading biomedical cryogenic storage equipment service provider. After nearly 20 years of investment and development, Biomedical is the driving force of innovation in product design and application. Our temperature controlling equipment covered the entire temperature range from minus 196 degrees to 8 degrees. At Higher Biomedical, we are proud of the many achievements and awards we have received both domestically and internationally. Higher Biomedical's ultra-low temperature products are now used, for example, by the British International Biobank and multi other institutes across the world, from the UK, Europe, Africa, Scandinavia, to North America. We are truly global. Our space refrigerators first being launched in 2011 on single spacecraft and many times after that. And in October 2019, Higher Biomedical was listed on Shanghai Stock Exchange. I'm proud of all our achievements, and we could go on, but it is now time to discuss the future and why Higher Biomedical should be your first choice when considering products and solutions to support your healthcare system. Higher Biomedical, the world leading and complete medical cold chain solution provider. Back to you, Peter.
Thank you, Mr. Wong. You've definitely been here since the beginning, and it must have been very special for you to discuss the Higher Biomedical journey today. I'm now going to hand over to Enrique, Project Director, as I mentioned earlier, for the UN and WHO, followed by his team members Lily, Will, and Robin, to cover the Higher Biomedical cold chain process in our IoT Centre. Again, please, if you have any questions, send them through. And again, if we run out of time, we apologise, but please, you can contact us and send through those important questions to www.highermedical.com. That's www.highermedical.com. So back live now to Qingdao, and over to you, Enrique. Thank you.
Dear guests, welcome to Higher Biomedical's on-live virtual interaction. This is Enrique Wang, the sales manager of Higher Biomedical. Due to the COVID-19, the demand of the medical cold chain is dramatically increased because of the boost of the COVID-19 related reagent and the various samples. Because most of them have to be stored at minus 20 to minus 80 degrees. And so today, the topic is to explore the low temperature storage solution for your biological samples. So for the trip, it might take around 15 minutes. Before I start the journey, let me have a brief introduction for Higher Group and Higher Biomedical. Higher Group is an international brand like Samsung, LG, and Panasonic. The turnover of Higher Group each year is $40 billion US. And Higher Biomedical is the branch company of Higher Group to supply medical and laboratory equipment all over the world since 1998. So now let's have a look of our new factory. This is the database of our new factory. So from the screen, you can see all the data is shared between sections and modules. Because of the real-time data sharing between departments, the efficiency and the quality has been increased a lot. For example, from this chart, you can see the blue bar is the plant production capacity, and the yellow bar is the actual production capacity. And that will be showed to the platform. So what kind of equipment is producing in the factory? For Higher Biomedical, we are producing the full range of medical cold chain equipment. This is a minus 150 degrees cryo freezer, and also minus 86, minus 60, minus 40, minus 30, and minus 20, as well as some refrigerator above zero. Beyond that, we also manufacture biosafety cabinet liquid nitrogen container, incubator, and some other laboratory use equipment. So now let's have a close view of some of the equipment. Here are some case studies of Haier Biomedical. For example, these some pictures shows Haier Biomedical's ULT freezer have been used in many international famous institutes, like in USA, in UK, in Denmark, in Australia, as well in Africa and India. This is some case studies in China. Like this one shows Haier Biomedical have supplied quite a lot biosafety cabinet and ULT freezers to Wuhan during the COVID-19. And this is the picture of Haier Biomedical's equipment used in Chinese Bone Marrow Bank, China Human Genetic Resource Bank, and China National Gene Bank. We also have some other projects along the Belt and Road countries. Here are some technical certificates we get from the country. This is the first scenario I want to introduce to you. These are some equipment used in the PCR labs and some other cell cultivation labs. For example, this is a biological sample, a biological safety cabinet class 2 type. As you know, in the PCR lab, it's quite important to use the biosafety cabinet to protect the sample, protect the staff, as well to protect the lab environment. This is the CO2 incubator. This is the climate chamber. This is the dry oven. That is a low temperature transfer vehicle, and that is the programmed cooling equipment. Now let's go to the other side. Here are some equipment scenarios used in pharmaceutical and reagent supply chain. So I'm very interested in this shelf. It's not a common shelf. This is a package of a reagent. We push the RFID tag under the package, and once I put it there, and the shelf can automatically recognize this package. For example, if I take it from the shelf and I press inventory, and you can see the volume from 60 decreased to 59. And if I put it back, I press inventory again, it increased from 59 to 60. So it is very convenient to use this RFID shelf if you have a lot of consumables used every day, and it can help you to automatically inventory your stock. This is the scenario of vaccination. For example, that vaccine fridge is a solar direct drive vaccine fridge. It is WHO qualified. The design is a grade A freeze protected design. The most significant feature of that equipment is that the holdover time is around 160 hours. That is around 1 week. That means in the 1 week, if you don't have power supply, if you don't have the sunshine, the temperature is still well maintained. And here are some other scenarios we call smart vaccination center. We have built this kind of a vaccination house facility with the China government in many cities. I think you must have a lot of questions, but I promise I will come back here in details next week. Here are some equipment used in blood bank, blood centers, and also some hospitals. So among them, I'm very interested in that crazy machine. Why I'm calling it crazy? Because I think most of us had experienced before. If you want to find something urgently, but you cannot find them in hand. Like when someone is on operation and you go to the blood bank for blood, but the blood bank manager is not there. But if you use the ATM blood bank fridge, the only thing you need to do is to get this paper from the doctor, and you come to this ATM blood bank fridge, you scan that, door automatically open, and the red blood will be there. It seems a little bit not easy to understand, but I think I will come back in details also next week. This full line are our blood bank fridges, the new generation. So the warming up is finished. I think all of us agree that 2020 is a very crazy year because of the COVID-19. Most of our lives are affected. And now there are a lot of new PCR labs or department set up to deal with the COVID-19 sample collection or sample testing. Because of the RT-PCR reagent have to be stored at minus 20 degrees, and various samples have to be stored at minus 80 degrees if they are not used in 24 hours. And so that's why we want to discuss the topic about low temperature storage solution for your biologic samples, especially for your PCR labs. And here are the ELT freezers, the new generation. But also we have some other traditional models. We can have a look here. As I had just mentioned, we are producing a full range of ultra-low temperature freezer, with different features, different capacities. And also we are supplying minus 60, minus 40, and minus 30, minus 20. And for this kind of freezers, we have to use them to store the RT-PCR reagent. We have a lot of models of them and a different volume and different features. So once you come to hire Biomedical, I'm sure you will get the right equipment you need. There are also some new generation equipment, like these two big guys. They're the new generation of ultra-low temperature freezer of Higher Biomedical. Before I introduce them, let's have a close view of them by watching some videos. So the video is finished. I think still some of you have some questions. What is on earth the difference between your new generation and the old generation? And what is some significant features of your new generation? Now, let me show you. This is the dual system ultra-low temperature freezer. The most significant difference with the traditional one, I think it's obvious, it's very big screen. We're using a 10 inches screen to display the features of this ultra-low temperature freezer. Here you can check a lot of very useful information. For example, you can see the inside temperature. You can also check the room temperature and also the set point of the freezer, as well as the voltage supply. There are also some other information we can check from the screen, like for samples. But of course, if you want to use this module, you have to connect to our beam system. And also, you can check the graph of the temperature in 24 hours, 7 days, and even a month. There's also inquiry function. There's a module is event logging. Here you can check all the event happen, like a door opening. The alarm record. Here you can check all the alarms here, like a no battery alarm, high temperature alarm, and door open alarm. You can also check the operation status, like which compressor is running, which condenser fan is running. Also, you can check the status of your backup system. And for power and the battery, you can check the battery condition. Here, there is no battery inside, but if there is battery, it will display if your battery is low or okay. Also, we have built a USB port here. And from here, you can use a USB stick to download the temperature data or other recorded data within 10 years. So that means within 10 years, all the function information of your ultra-low temperature freezer can be tracked. There's also 2 new logs of this system. There is a fingerprint log, as well there is an NFC log. Because of the new added logs, that means your biological samples inside is safer. We also have a designing of 4 layers of the gasket of the outer dowel. And there is another layer of gaskets in the inner dowel. We totally use 5 layers of the gasket, and that helps the freezer to maintain the temperature. And also, it saves the energy. We also have a 5 volts power supply there. We can use the power supply to drive your other modules, like this is a temperature monitoring system. Of course, there is also some other design which is easy to use now. This is the condenser fan, and this is the condenser filter. Now it's very easy for you to take out the filter from here, and you can clean that. So now, after some introduction, you might still have a question. Now I know your higher freezers, but what is the difference between higher and your competitors? Let me make some examples. This is a frequency conversion type ultra-low temperature freezer. And what is the frequency conversion? I don't want to use too much technical words. Let me use very common words to explain. It's just like if you want to cool down the samples very fast, the engine can run fast. If you don't want to use that function, the engine can run normally. So in this way, the equipment can well save the energy. We are using the hydrocarbon refrigerant, and we also get the energy star from the USA. The consumption of this ULT freezers is only around 11 kilowatts hour per day. And in terms of consumption, the same size, our competitor is around 18. The uniformity of this freezer is also very, it's very small. It only 3 plus and minus. It complies to the international pharmacy factory standard. But for our competitors, it's around 6 minus and plus. So that means the uniformity of higher ULT freezers is more even inside. And this is a dual system ULT freezers. What is a dual system? That means the ULT freezers are using 2 independent cooling systems. Even one system is breakdown, the other can also cool the temperature as low as minus 80 degrees. But for our competitors, the lowest temperature for their single system is only 70 degrees minus. So that means if you put your samples in higher freezers, it's safer. Also, we use the hydrocarbon refrigerant. We also get the Energy Saving Star from the USA. For the similar size between higher and our competitors, I can tell you the power consumption per day if this equipment is around 8.7 kilowatt hour per day, and our competitors around 11. Also, the cooling speed is different. This ULT freezer, it can cool down the temperature from 25 to minus 80 in 3 hours. But for our competitor, they have to use at least 5 hours. So here are some features and functions of our new ultra-low temperature freezer. I think a lot of you must have some questions, and I can see some of already asked some questions. But I think we will take the half an hour time to answer question after we introduce all the scenarios. So now let me hand over the time to my colleague Lily about other equipment.
Let me have a brief introduction of our liquid nitrogen solution. For this solution, it's mainly our containers of minus 196 degrees. We have 3 different kinds of containers. The first type is made of aluminum. You can see we have a container of 3 liters, 6 liters, 10 liters, up to 850 liters. The second type is made of stainless steel. You can see it is very solid. The biggest capacity is up to 1,800 liters. The subtype is self-pressured containers. However, in some hospitals, biobank centers, scientific research centers, it is not very convenient to buy or replace the liquid nitrogen, especially in some very remote area. So that's why we have developed successfully the freezer of minus 150 degrees. You can see on the left side, it is our champion freezing chamber. The capacity is 150 liters. There was a client who asked me what's the advantage of this freezer compared to our container of minus 196 degrees. Well, you can see if in the same area we put a square freezer instead of a round container, that means we can store more samples, which means we can improve the efficiency of usage. And also another client asked me what's the advantage of this freezer compared to our freezer of minus 86 degrees. Well, if we store the samples in the freezer of minus 86 degrees, if we store them for 7 to 8 years, the samples will degrade. However, in this freezer, it won't happen. We can store them even for 20 years, and the samples won't degrade at all. And also, our products really is of a humanized design. you can see the padlock here. It is very solid. And also on the right side, it is our temperature regulator. It is optional. And on the back side, the backup system of liquid nitrogen is also optional. This product is quite popular, not only in China, but also in abroad market, especially in abroad market. For example, in South Africa, we've sold about 20 units. And also in Japan, we've sold 14 units. And in Morocco, we've sold 1 unit used in National Blood Transfusion Center. That's all about this freezer and also for the container. Thank you.
Welcome to biomedical freezer area. Biological samples need to be stored at a temperature -20 to -40 degrees, such as protein, enzyme, as well as blood plasma. In PCR labs, the nucleic acid testing reagent also need to be stored at deep freezers. This is our new launched deep freezer, -30 degrees, 1,280 liters. It solves the problem of accumulation of ice in storage area. It is forced air cooling. Users may complain that inside temperature rises very fast when it is defrosting. Well, this freezer solves the problem very perfectly. Let's see how it works. Here it is. The dual system design. When one system is defrosting, the other system will keep on running, prevent the internal temperature from rising, and improves the uniformity of temperature. The system is charged with HC, high efficiency reagent, cut down the energy consumption to as much as 40%. In fact, we have compared it with another American brand. And surprisingly, we found its energy consumption is only 1/3 of the American brand in normal conditions. And you can see it's very silent. Its running noise is as low as 42 dB. Here is its controlling board. We can check the temperature graph. We can check the alarm record, event record, and operating status. And authorized person can also modify its parameters. And this slot is for holding pen. This for holding papers. Here is a USB for download the records. In a word, this freezer is a combination of ergonomic design and energy saving. Here is our frequency conversion freezer. From its name, we can know it's fitted with an inverter compressor, which means the running speed of the compressor is variable according to its inside temperature. Thus, it saves a lot of energy. At the same time, the intelligent temperature control technology ensures the uniformity of internal temperature within 3 degrees. Let's have a look at its inside. Two seals, 3 inner doors. When we open the inner door, wow, big space. We make the best use of space by the built-in evaporate technology. Besides the frequency conversion and the forced air cooling freezer, we still supply the normal direct cooling freezers, including spark-free freezers. Thanks for listening. Here is my colleague Robbie.
Thank you, Will. Thanks my colleague's introduction. As a full-range cold chain equipment manufacturer, we can not only supply the equipment, but also all kinds of consumables. Our consumables are made of medical-grade raw materials and suitable for low-temperature storage. Assume you have some samples ready in your hand. What kind of consumables do you need? First, you may need the cryo tubes. We have different types of tubes for your selection. The traditional type, the 2D barcode type, the sterile type, non-sterile type. And our tubes can tolerate different temperature range, as low as -196 degree, -121 degree. Our tubes are free of DNA and RNA enzymes or toxins, so they will not do harm to your samples. So after the tubes, you may need the labels. I will show you how to print a label. You can notice the label comes out from this label printer. The resolution of this label printer is 300 dpi, and you can notice this label includes a lot of information. The information are concise and clear, and the ink on the label is not easy to fade or be polluted. And meanwhile, we can supply different types of label materials or label patterns. After you attach the label onto the tubes, you may need a box to contain the tubes. We have different kinds of box for your selection. You can notice the box has the transparent cover, so it's very convenient for you to observe the samples inside. Meanwhile, there's many numbers on the cover. It will facilitate your inventory management. At the same time, we have special design for the box on the edge. Only if you cover it in the right direction, it will just cover perfectly. Otherwise, it will like this. You cannot cover it. So after the box, you may need to put the box into the racks. We have different racks with different specifications. Our racks are made of 304 stainless steel. And we also have some positions. Yeah, we also have some positions for the identification card here and here. We have drawer tabs and the Z-axis sliding tab for your selection. And at the same time, we can design the racks according to your requirements. Besides the tubes, the label printer, the boxes, the racks, we also have batch scanner. The batch scanner can help to realize the high-efficient sample management. And in China, we have higher beams sample management system. It is developed by Haier for the end user to manage their samples and for the remote monitoring. Presently, the pandemic of the COVID-19 is very severe. Higher Biomedical also develops the full solution for the PCR labs to detect the virus, such as the swabs, the nucleic acid extractor, and more equipment. So that's the consumable parts. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin, and thank you to Will, Lily, and Enrique for your message today about the complete solutions across some of our products and solutions that we have at Higher Biomedical, including what Robin touched on at the end, which is the importance of what our solutions can do to solve your issue with COVID-19. Before I hand over to Enrique to take questions, I'd just like to point out that this is the first of many webinars to come in the future, which will include more products and solutions from China and from our other partners around the world, and also training. So please keep an eye on our website and from your contacts at Higher Biomedical for further information on the next webinars. So again, if we run out of time today, I can see a lot of questions have been coming through, which we really appreciate. And we're going to do our best at the back end to get to each of these questions. If we don't, again, please, you can see everything and contact us at www.highermedical.com. That's www.highermedical.com. So before any further ado again, and I'd like to hand back to Enrique, live from China, Qingdao. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Peter. And now I already see some questions coming. Okay. The first question is, hi, Higher team, if stainless steel inside your ultra-low freezer is available? And the answer is yes. And currently, we already have a stainless steel interior for optional models. And for our anti-saving models, our touchscreen models, the dual system as well, the frequency conversion type, the stainless steel interior is optional. And so once you have any order, then you can let us know which kind of interior material you want, and then we will manufacture based on your request. And the next question, hi, Higher team, do you have any ultra-low freezer or smaller volume? And the answer is also yes. Currently, we have a full range of capacity from 100 liters to 959 liters. Currently, the smallest volume is 100 liters, but we also have a much smaller one. It's around 50 liters is under development. So hopefully, before end of this year, this small model will come out. Hi, Eric. Just talked about hydrocarbon refrigerant. What is that? What's different between CFC? Please explain more for our sales team. So for the CFC and HC refrigerant, I think the difference is if the refrigerant have crinoline. Because for hydrocarbon refrigerant is totally like a natural gas. There is no harm to the ozone layer. And for the CFC, there's still some elements is crinoline. And now in Europe Union and in American as well in Australia, the CFC-free refrigerant is not enough anymore. So we have to use the hydrocarbon refrigerant so that we can sell in this market. I hope this answer can answer your question. Okay, so I say there's this question already answered by one of our clients. So thank you so much, Mr. Urson. The other question is, hi, will a copy of this webinar be shared via email? And the answer is yes. So after this seminar, we already have our email address in the invitation. Once you have any question, you can also send it to Higher Biomedical. We will answer that. And in the other way, we will also upload this webinar to our website. So you can also check there. Is there any solution for frosting for -86 ultra low temperature freezer? A lot of customers are facing this issue. If Haier have a solution, it will be a great advantage. And I think this is a very challenging question. So let me invite my colleague from engineering department to have a half-minute discussion. 理工，我们那个现在超低温没有风冷了是吧？全球都没有是吧？啊，难点在于哪儿呢？Okay, so our engineer has an explanation because -86 is very low temperature. And internationally, there is no such kind of equipment already developed. The most challenging part is that in this very low temperature, the engine of the cooling fan inside the ultra low temperature freezer will not work. Because if you want to make it frost free, that means you have to use a fan to circulate the air inside to prevent them accumulated. But now the technical challenge is the cooling fan inside the ultra low temperature freezer. Hi, sir. Can I ask about safety cabinets? And yes, I think this is what we shall do in the next seminar. We also supply quite a wide range of biosafety cabinet. And this one, I think we can firstly send you the marketing materials as well as technical information. After that, later on, Peter will give all of us a forecast for our next seminar, and our biosafety cabinet is included. And we welcome you to join us again. There will be new model with electrical door or LAF cabin. I'm sorry that I'm not quite sure about the LF cabin, but I think the question about new model of electronic window is about the biosafety cabinet. And the answer is yes. Currently, we already have this model with electronic window. Any new questions coming? If there is no more question coming, I will hand over the time to Peter.
Thank you, Enrique. I think Thank you, Enrique. We appreciate your time in answering the questions. Questions on notice can be tough.
Okay,
and
there is one more question coming. Hello, sir. I would like to know what is the difference between the standards.
Sorry about the confusion there, everyone. We'll get that question answered as soon as possible, but just wanted to thank Enrique. As I said, we appreciate the time in answering questions. It is difficult to take some on notice, but handled professionally as always by Enrique. As Enrique mentioned, this was our first webinar, and I think it went very well in explaining some of our solutions from High Biomedical. However, as I've mentioned before, and you can always see across our multiple amounts of marketing material, we have a complete cold chain solution for medical. And moving forward in the future, we will be providing further webinars as for training and for further product and solutions. So please keep note of that, and we will come back to you and market that information through our newsletters and directly to you by email LinkedIn, etc. So I would like to wrap up proceedings today and thank everybody from our complete team that put today together back in China and from around the world. And I'd also like to thank you for joining us from across the globe during this particular difficult time. However, I think we will move through this issue, and in the future, we welcome you to come and visit us in China and visit our new manufacturing facility and see our IoT center. It is quite mind-blowing, and we're very proud of it. So again, for further details, for joining the future, further details on today, as Enrique mentioned, and further information on reviewing and looking at the video, please go to www.hiremedical.com. That's www.hiremedical.com. And again, for those who couldn't join us today due to we hit maximum capacity, we apologize, and we will hope to have you next time. So again, without further ado, thank you very much to everybody for joining us today and sharing this experience with us. So thank you, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Have a pleasant day. Thank you, and goodbye.